Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys. He's Gage Bertovich, and today we're previewing the NFC East division. Gage, how are we doing out there today, man?
I'm doing good. We're getting down there on the divisions. More preseason action going on. It's awesome. We've said it so many times on this show. It is the best time of year, especially during the preseason when you get to see all the people that get cut. Cough, cough, Hunter Deckers from the Saints. Cough, cough. And it's just an awesome time. But otherwise, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing all right. Kind of still trying to recover from the game, the Brewers and the Reds Friday night game. Man, the Reds got up on them big. Thought it was over with. It was 8-1, and who won that game? Oh yeah, the Brewers, 10-8. Crazy, ridiculous game, man.
And we talk about the Reds and stuff, but I didn't know that the co-host on this show was a giant Chicago Bears fan. I mean, look at that C on his hat. It's a Chicago Bears logo.
Actually, it is for the University of Chicago, the Maroons. Hello, Division III. Going to go undefeated this year. I got a good feeling about it this year. We're going to bring home the title. We've got to watch out for some teams up there. But, this is the University of Chicago Maroons.
Well, I don't know about undefeated. They do start out at number 18, Carnegie Mellon. So it's going to be a tough home opener for them.
You throw out the record books when you get Carnegie Mellon, whatever you just said, at the first game of the year. The number 18 team, is that a home game or an away game? It doesn't matter.
I believe it's the home opener for University of Chicago.
Yeah, so the University of Chicago, they're going to get that home field advantage, and they're just going to go out and they're just going to pound that team. Just right now, I'm telling you right now. So when we do our Week 1 Division III predictions next week on this show, we'll cover that more.
You know what? I was today years old when I learned that we're doing Division III previews now. All right, let's go.
Yeah, you should talk about viewership. That is going to go through the roof in this joint.
And it might be a 3 or 4 hour live stream because there are so many Division III football teams.
Yeah, why not? We may go NAIA after that, so you just stick around. We'll see.
I think we're going to need some NIL money after this.
We're definitely going to need some. Because who else is going to be previewing Division III football? I can tell you, nobody.
No, not at all. Unless it's an actual school doing it.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. But talking about the Reds and Brewers on Friday, they had Jacob Mizorowski for Milwaukee going. I have him in fantasy. Here we go again with the fantasy talk. But I have him in fantasy. Forgot to activate him from the IL. He goes an inning and a third, 3 Ks at first. I was like, oh, great. Here we go. He's going to go double-digit Ks. And that was it. He didn't record another out after that. So I was like, you know what? I'm okay not taking the 3 Ks if it means I don't have to go along with the 33.5 ERA or whatever it was that came with it.
Yeah, the Reds got on him pretty early, and it's 8-1 in the second inning. And then the Reds just didn't score the rest of the game. Wow.
Well, usually if you score 8 runs, you don't think you would have to score more. But take it from a Pittsburgh fan. You guys did this to us last week. Score 8 runs doesn't mean you're going to win.
Especially against the Brewers, the hottest team in baseball. You're going to have to get at least 11 or 12. Crazy as that sounds, but yeah, man, it was just so frustrating because the Mets lost last night too. The Reds are still a half a game back, but if they would have won last night, held on to that 7-run lead, 7-run cushion, if they could have held on to it, right now they're sitting, in first place in the wild card.
I may also have to take responsibility for that. I had Sean Manaea going in fantasy. Let me tell you, worst pickup, I think, of the season on my part. He's had one good start for me since I picked him up. I think that's the end of that. But, yeah, I will take part responsibility on that one. I'm sorry.
Appreciate it. So, did you catch any preseason games so far yesterday? I didn't catch any of them.
I did not. I saw highlights, but I had to work last night. So, I think the biggest one is Cam Ward.
Oh, yeah.
People are dogging on him. 2 of 7, 42 yards. Yeah, if his receivers would, be able to catch a ball. There was one, I forget who he threw it to, but there's the front view clip going around. He arcs it really well, hits the guy in the hands, and he drops it. People are saying, oh, Ward should have put a better throw on it. It hit him in the hands. Yeah, maybe he could have hit him in the chest. Okay. But you're an NFL receiver. You got to be able to catch that if it hits your hands.
I think Cam Ward's probably going to be a bust. I'm going to go ahead and predict that right now. But You're right. That wasn't all his fault. He's got to have somebody to throw it to and somebody to catch the ball for him, even if he puts it right on their hands. Who was it? I think Chris Carter said, if it hits your hands and you're a wide receiver, you better bring that in. There's no excuse not to bring that in. And that's kind of like it was last night with him. Hit him in the hands. And I think he even took responsibility for that throw because the wide receiver said, oh, he could have got it to me a little bit better. Hit your hands, dude.
Yeah. I think it was, looking at it, it's former Steeler.
Van Jefferson. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's 100% a drop. An NFL player has to make that catch. Calvin Ridley doesn't bring that in but approximately half the time. It's like you have to make that catch. I don't care. Yeah, you're on the Titans, so you're probably not that good, but you got to make that catch.
There's a reason Van Jefferson's on his third team in 4 or 5 years, right? I don't think it's Cam Ward's fault.
What else did we have last night happen? The Falcons, Michael Penix, looking decent.
Or, as they've misspelled it a couple of times on some live broadcasts, it's a different name. They changed the X for an S, and boy, that's on local news. So that's an interesting take on
I
that
saw
name.
that. I was like, how do you do that?
How does that get through?
Yeah, I understand the X and S are kind of close to each other, but someone has to, I would assume, approve this.
Yeah, you've got to think that wasn't like a live shot. That was put on ahead of time and then placed on there.
And the one thing that surprised me last night had to be out of the Seahawks. With their quarterback play, Sam Darnold, 4 for 4, 34 yards. Jalen Milroe, 3 of 5, 46 yards. And then Drew Lock, 10 of 12, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. I could almost see Drew Lock being the starter this year for them over Sam Darnold. I almost think Sam Darnold was a product of the Viking system, and now that he's elsewhere, he is not going to succeed.
Well, it only makes sense. He didn't succeed in New York. He didn't succeed in San Francisco. He goes up there with Kevin O'Connell, and he has his best year of his career. And now he's left and going out to Seattle. And then Mike McDonald, he's a defensive guy. So I get it. I could see where he could be a product of the system. So Drew Lock incoming, breakout year.
He's going to be quarterback 1 in fantasy, Drew Lock.
Well, okay. 100 Deckers, right?
Yep. Behind Hunter Deckers and Bailey Zappi for Kansas City.
Oh, yes. Did you see that quarterback room? I don't think we glossed over it when we did our previews, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew, and Bailey Zappi. What a quarterback room in Kansas City.
And then don't forget, former Steeler, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Chris Oladokun as well.
Man, some names.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Chiefs, I think, did they make any news this week with off the field, like a certain podcast had a certain person on or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if they were very swift about it, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We should just probably shake this off and go on to what our topic is today.
Or we could talk about it and tailor it to our audience.
We could. We definitely could do that. But I think we should just, I don't know. I don't know any more puns to go over right here. But yeah. Yeah, so that made a little bit of news. But whatever. That's a different thing.
People going crazy about that. It's like, come on, people. All this hype for someone who doesn't know you exist. Come on.
Yeah. And, does she know football? Maybe we can listen and see if she actually knows any football in there.
Apparently she was very excited when Kansas City drafted Xavier Worthy. So there's that.
Well, maybe she does know football. I
Doubt it.
Doubt it. She knows probably Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy. She probably doesn't know the rest of the team. I bet she could not name, the linebacker, Karloftis or something like that,
She might know Rashi Rice.
Yeah, well, maybe for all the wrong reasons.
You said it, not me.
Alrighty, so that'll bring us into our topic for the day, and that is the 2025 East preview. Last year in the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles won the division with 14-3 record, followed by a surprising Washington Commanders at 12-5, and then the Cowboys, and then the Giants down in the basement. Last year, the Commanders came on. I did not think that they were going to be that good until the Monday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals when it was a shootout, and I was like, oh, great, they're letting this rookie quarterback go crazy. It turns out it wasn't the only team that he done that on, so I didn't feel so bad, later on in the season. But Gage, let's go ahead and let's start off with the defending Super Bowl champions, a team that you love to talk about, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Man, you had me until you said I like to talk about them. But They are, at least last year, they were very good. Points scored per game, they were 7th in the NFL at 27.2. Points allowed per game, they ranked 2nd at 17.8. Almost a 10-point differential between the defense and the offense, and that was crazy. The Eagles' win line set at 11.5 after finishing 14-3 last season. My key question, can Saquon Barkley do that again? And I don't have to specify because we all know what I'm talking about. The NFL couldn't stop Barkley last year, but history suggests that his 436 carries in 20 total games, which was tied with 2014 DeMarco Murray for the heaviest load since 2000, might slow him down in 2025. That's a lot for one person to take on. 136 carries in 20 total games. That he had way more snaps than that because he was obviously on the field for passing down, stuff for blocking, stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting, are they going to weaken the workload on him? Or are they just like, you know what, you did it last year, you can do it again. Let's run this guy until his legs fall off. I don't know. My position to watch, I'm going to go to the secondary. You have 2 top 40 picks in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the secondary. And I think that they're going to be even better this year in their sophomore season. However, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, always a good one, he lost veteran depth in the secondary. After we know CJ got traded, Darius Slay was released, and Avonte Maddox signed with Detroit. So I say watch her, the 23-year-old. You got Kaylee Ringo. He was a 2023 4th-round pick. I think he's going to start at corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. But how much is he going to be able to do? Obviously, he wasn't really a starter last year or even the year before. So he's going to probably take his bumps in the road. So I'll be interested to see, can Cooper and Mitchell hold it down while Ringo learns? Breakout player is a defensive tackle, and I know this is not the first time that I have butchered a name on this show. I'm sorry. Defensive tackle Moro Ojomo. I think I did pretty good on that. The other defensive tackle that we all know for Philly, Milton Williams. He left for New England. Given this guy, he's Nigerian born, and all reports say he's going to be the successor to Milton Williams. So I think he's got a chance to build on a strong 2024. 1 year after he nearly went undrafted as a 7th-round pick in 2023, Jomo had 31 pressures, which was ranked 4th on the team as a whole. In PFF, they graded him a top 40 at the position. So I think he'll be in the starter. He's going to just blow up in the league. So are they better than what they were in 2024? I don't know. I originally wrote down no, but that's okay. But it's hard to tell. They maintain continuity mostly. But the Eagles did lose offensive coordinator Kellen Moore and 8 key members of their defense. They saw the schedule difficulty increase more than any other team, and they have to play against the teams like the NFC North, AFC West, after just getting the AFC North and NFC South last year, which admittedly is easier than the NFC North and AFC West. Their offensive coordinator, this is his first year doing it, Kevin Patullo. Is he up to the task? Can their defense replicate what they did last year? I think it's going to be hard. 11.5 wins is their win line. I'm going to take the over on it, but I think it's because they end at maybe 12 wins.
So the Eagles, they dominated the NFC East last year, steamrolling their way to a Super Bowl victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. And, man, we both don't like either one of these teams, but we were both Eagles fans, I believe, in that game, right? But
absolutely,
their offense was a juggernaut, led by Saquon Barkley with his 2,005 rushing yards, which they let him set out. Was it week 18? Is that they let him set out?
I believe so.
Because he could have broke the record. And if you were going to set him out, everybody was saying, you better go win the Super Bowl. And they did just that. Offensively, they were the NFL's best, allowing the fewest points per game. Jalen Hurts was the cornerstone of this offense, coming off of a Super Bowl MVP performance. He threw for 2,900 yards and 630 rushing yards, with a lot of tush-push touchdowns near that goal line. Hurts thrives in high-pressure situations, but his passing touchdowns, he's only projected for 19.5 this year. May be limited due to the run-heavy red zone approach that they have. Course. Saquon was the healthiest he's ever been. Offensive Player of the Year, 15 touchdowns to go along with the rushing yards. However, like you said, he had a lot of touches last year, and he hasn't been healthy his whole career. Will he remain healthy? I don't know. Barkley's out for anything. I don't think that's going to help out a whole lot back there at running back. It's not going to, it's not going to cover the production that's going to be lost by Saquon. At wide receiver, you've got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. They're an elite wide receiver duo. Brown's physical. Smith's got some route running ability. And then you got Dallas Goedert, who is a reliable tight end. One of the best in the NFL. And then the strength, the Eagles O-line, anchored by Lane Johnson, is a strength that is among the league's best. And then you've got new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, as you mentioned. Got Nick Sirianni back once again. Kellen Moore's gone to New Orleans, so we'll see how that offense does this year. So can Barkley sustain his production from last year, and will the wear and tear lead to regression? We'll see. Defensively, the Eagles lost veterans, like you mentioned. Darius Slay, of course, CJ GJ, who is going to be a future great in Houston, but just not this year. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, making their defense younger and less experienced. On the defensive line, they're a young, solid, talented group, and Vic Fangio's scheme emphasizes stopping the run and generating pressure. Their win total is 11.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over on this, too. I think that they go over, but I think I'm with you. I think they might get 12 wins. I don't think they're going to get 14 like they did last year. Defensively, I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for them compared to last year. I don't think they'll be as good defensively. And I don't know if Saquon's going to be able to replicate what he was able to do last year. If he does, that's great, but he hasn't proven to play a full season yet, much less 2 full seasons in a row. So we'll see how that is. But, I think I'm with you about 12 wins for the Eagles this year.
And I'll be interested to see if Saquon does get hurt, who takes over? I don't know. They got the second year, Will Shipley. They also got A.J. Dillon in the backfield. Will Shipley played 1 game last year, balled out. We know what A.J. Dillon can do. He showed it in limited time with Green Bay. So who's getting the majority of snaps when inevitably Saquon gets hurt?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But they just better hope he doesn't get hurt, because that's going to hurt their chances for a repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go now to the next team on the list, and let's go with the Washington Commanders, finishing second and making a playoff run last year all the way to the NFC Championship game. Gage, what do we think about the Commanders this year?
Yeah, they finished 12-5 last year, which was not expected under the rookie quarterback. Their offense was 5th in the league, 28.5 points scored per game. The defense, little worse than half, 23 points allowed per game, which was 18th. And even finishing 12-5, their win line is set at 9.5, which seems low. But I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't. So I put the key question, very simple. Can their defense keep up? With the defense, adding size was the off-season focus for Jaden Daniels and Washington's defense. The latter needed it more, as the Commanders' run defense allowed 1.93 yards before contact, which was the 4th most in the league, and 4.8 yards per carry, which was tied for 3rd most. Their line needs defensive tackle Daron Payne to revert to Pro Bowl form. That is a tongue twister. But early reports out of camp, out of preseason, they seem promising. People are expecting him to return to the Pro Bowl form player that he is. My position to watch, I'm going to the cornerback. Corners are worth a premium in this division. You got A.J. Brown, you got CeeDee Lamb, and you got Malik Neighbors that you have to cover. You have to put your number 1, and sometimes you may even have to double team them. So that's why Washington spent heavily to acquire former Pro Bowler Marshawn Lattimore. To be fair, he was awful in last year's brief appearance as a Commander, though he finally looks healthy after an injury-plagued 2024. He will pair with the winner of the cornerback 2 role, which I think is going to be rookie Trey Amos. None of the other corners on that defense really are standing out to me, and Washington considered him in the first round, and they didn't do it. They waited till later, and were still able to get him. Breakout player, we're going to go to the running back spot, and give me Brian Robinson Jr. I always liked this kid playing, whether it be college or in the pros. He's in a contract year. The contract year runner stood out in minicamp, according to everybody. Head coach Dan Quinn echoed this sentiment with, quote, "You feel his urgency and intensity. He's really had a good offseason." So if healthy, Washington's lead runner from last year could recapture his early season form, where he averaged 4.6 yards per carry through week 9. However, I would say they have a rookie. His name is Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, keep an eye on him. He could be the only one to potentially take the position from Robinson. So are they better than what they were in 2024? I say yes. Daniels, we all know it. He was the story. But Washington's surprising offensive line was also why this team won as many as they did. That group, however, lost starting guard Sam Cosmi to an ACL injury back in January, but was smartly reinforced by getting Pro Bowl left tackle Laramie Tunsil and by getting first-round pick right tackle Josh Connerly Jr. However, still, their unimposing defense and a tougher path, they rank behind only the Eagles for the largest year-over-year increase in schedule difficulty. That could be signs for regression. However, I don't think it's going to happen. Their win line set at 9.5. I'm going to hammer the over on that, and I think that they finish second.
So, like I mentioned, the Commanders, they shocked everybody last year by going 12-5. Nobody saw that coming. They reached the NFC Championship game behind Jaden Daniels, an electrifying play. I mean, he was awesome last year as a rookie. Their defense struggled, 22nd in points allowed, first in rushing yards allowed. And they, as you could tell with that Bengals game early on, it was a shootout. So neither team's defense proved right there that they were going to be very good that season, and they weren't, neither one of them. Definitely not. Jaden Daniels, the 2024 Rookie of the Year, transformed Washington with 900 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, and his dynamic passing, dual threat ability. But is he poised for a sophomore slump? There's always that risk. You just never know. He may be awesome again this year. He may have a slump. Ryan Robinson is a reliable running back, but the depth is limited at that position. And the running game also relies on Daniels' scrambling ability. So maybe Daniels could be running back 2. I don't know, with Robinson 1. At wide receiver, you've got Scary Terry McLaurin. He's a steady wide receiver 1. He just was activated off the physically unable to perform list. I don't think he's got a contract done yet. No, I haven't heard that yet. But there's still that. And then they added Deebo Samuel to boost the passing game. And they still have Noah Brown and Michael Gallup. The tight end position is not that great. Who was it that they had at tight end? Zach Ertz?
I think it's still Zach.
Zach Ertz, yeah. On the downslide, I believe. The offensive line was not that great last year. They were okay. So we'll see if they can keep him up. And then you got offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, who I think that helped Jaden Daniels out a lot. You got a college coach here with a guy that just came out of college trying to make things easier for him. And it's a friendly scheme for him to be in. So can Daniels avoid a sophomore slump? Will the addition of Samuel, help out this offense in any way? A lot of 49ers fans were glad Deebo was gone. They were not Deebo fans at all because he wasn't very reliable for that team. So we'll see if he can be more reliable for this team. So the Commanders added veteran Von Miller on the defensive side, but he's old and he's prone to injury, and he's a little bit past his prime. So we'll see how that is for him. The secondary was a struggle last year, as long as the rest of the defense was a struggle too. So we'll see how they do on that defensive side. And aging veterans like Miller and Wagner turn the run defense around. I don't know. I doubt it. 9.5 for the win total. I'm taking the over on this one too. I think that I don't think he's going to have a sophomore slump. I think that offense is going to look just as good as last year. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts, but they're going to be able to, outshoot a lot of teams. I like them to win this division this year. I've got the Commanders winning the NFC East over the Eagles. Both teams getting 12 wins, but the Commanders winning the tiebreaker, and they're going to be your NFC East champions. Hail to the Commanders.
Big predictions. Wow.
Yeah. We ain't shying away from anything on this one here.
I like it, though. I like it a lot. You know what I don't like? And you can either keep this in or cut it out because it's a rant real quick. I hate ESPN. There is no reason why every time I click on something, an ad should play, even when the little volume thing has an X through it. That means there's no volume. Don't play the volume.
We'll keep that in. I mean, hey, look, in a couple of months, maybe this month, I think, ESPN's going to start charging you $30 to get their app so you can watch everything on there now. So that's even better.
Yeah, well, ESPN can go kick rocks.
Yeah, they've got Red Zone now. They own, NFL owns 10% of them now. They own the NFL Network. They're going to have WWE. All that is going to be on the ESPN app. So
On the WWE Network. Here we go.
yeah, they're not going anywhere. So get ready for the ads that keep playing.
I don't care about the ads. Just stop the volume. There's no volume that should be going. Come on.
And so, talking about ESPN and their love of certain teams, we'll go ahead and go with ESPN's favorite NFL team, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Gage, tell me about the Cowboys.
I think this is their year. No, I'm kidding.
How
They
about
say
the
that every
Cowboys?
year, and it's never their year. They finished 7-10 last year, 20.6 points scored per game, which was 21st in the league, and 27.5 points allowed per game, which was next to worst. Their win line is set at 7.5, and a little bit of a longer of a key question. What can rookie head coach Brian Schottenheimer do with this offense? Now, the selection of Schottenheimer was very uninspiring, which coincides, that's an appropriate term for Dallas's entire team lately. It's been 5 years since he was a full-time play caller. However, you got a healthy Dak Prescott, reliable target in CeeDee Lamb. You acquired George Pickens, and a tight end that I think is very underrated in Jake Ferguson. However, you have one small problem on that offensive side, and that goes to my position to watch at the running back spot. All Dallas had to do last season was sign either Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, or Josh Jacobs, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. However, they instead paired Ezekiel Elliott with Rico Dowdle, and results were as expected, with the Cowboys ranking 27th in rushing yards per game at 100.3. This year, they are led by the shell of Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and fifth-round pick Jaden Blue. A committee is certainly to be had. All they had to do was spend $10-12 million and sign Derrick Henry, Saquon, or Josh Jacobs. That's all they had to do. And maybe it could have been their year. But no, we had to let Saquon go to Philly. We had to let Derrick go to Baltimore. Josh Jacobs, don't care about him, but it had to let him go elsewhere. So breakout player, I mentioned him earlier, tight end Jake Ferguson. He's been an offensive standout. And like I mentioned, I think he's very underrated, possibly a top 10 tight end in the league. He and Prescott took advantage of the space created by Lamb and Pickens so far in OTAs. An injury-plagued 2024, the contract year tight end could be better than his Pro Bowl 2023, where he had 71 catches, 761 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So are they better than what they were in 2024? I would certainly hope so. You got everyone healthy, so you better be better than what you were last year. A healthier roster, improved offensive line, you added the deep threat of George Pickens. These are all positives for an offense that could get to the next level. Matt Eberflus might return the defense to a strength, or at least slow down the run. They allowed 137.1 rushing yards per game last year. Micah Parsons should sign his extension, but even if everything goes right, they'll still need a run game, so it's going to be hard to tell. 7-10 was their record last year. 7.5, I believe, was the win total, yes. Oh, man, this is a hard one. I'm going to take the over on it, but I still think they finish 8-9.
So the Cowboys 7-10 season last year, with a lot of injuries attributed to that, and a poor defense, 31st in points allowed, led to missing the playoffs. Head coach Mike McCarthy was fired back in January, and the Cowboys, everybody was hoping they would make a big splash at head coach, and they bring in Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah. So, new coaching and roster additions aim for a rebound. Maybe. At quarterback, Dak Prescott's health is critical. After a 2024 season with 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 8 starts, a healthy Dak could elevate the offense. Could, maybe. At running back, Rico Dowdle's departure leaves Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders as a 1-2 punch for the rest of the division to fear, along with Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa rookies. I mean, that should scare anybody right there defensively, right? None of these guys are elite, and the running game may struggle behind a line weakened by Zach Martin's retirement.
Yeah.
At wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb and newly acquired George Pickens form a dynamic wide receiver duo. That should be much improved for the Dallas Cowboys. They never really had much of a number 2, I didn't think, before. And now you've got George Pickens. If he can stay, calm down a little bit, mature a little bit. And then at tight end, you have Jake Ferguson, as you mentioned, your breakout player, top tight end for the team. And then you've got, Jalen Tolbert over there too. I mean, you've got some pieces there for this offense. But the key for them is, will they get any of those running backs to produce anything? I don't know. It's going to be a pass-heavy team, I believe. It's got to be. So on the defensive side, Micah Parsons, he had 12 sacks last year. He's going to be all over the place. But you had injuries to Trayvon Diggs, who his rookie season was awesome. And then Deron Bland, he had a lot of interceptions. Was it last year or the year before last? He had a ton of interceptions.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
If those two guys can get back to where they're just ball hawks back there, that defense, that secondary is going to be dangerous. So their record, the win total is over 7.5, right?
Yes, 7.5.
Can Eberflus turn around that run defense? Will Micah Parsons sign his extension? Or will that impact his play? Will that impact the beginning of the season for the Cowboys with him not being there? Maybe. 7.5? Man, this is a tough one right here. They got a tough schedule for, but I think they're going to be a good 8-win team this year. Give me the over with them. I think they'll go 8-9. They'll miss the playoffs once again. But the key is there's a lot of questions here with this team. How will Brian Schottenheimer do his first year as a head coach? What do they do at running back? I mean, you're going to have to do something else. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, come on. That's not going to get it done in this league. So there's a lot of question marks there, but 7.5, I like him to go to get 8, only because if Dak can stay healthy, he's got some pieces around him that he can throw to, and it's going to be pass heavy for this team.
And you mentioned Deron Bland. Rookie season, 22. Pretty good. 17 games, 5 interceptions. All right. 2023, all-pro year, 17 games, 9 interceptions, 5 touchdowns on that. Last year, kind of injury-plagued. 7 games, nothing. He had a forced fumble recovery, 5 passes defended.
Yeah. Like I said, him and I believe Diggs, his first year, had 6 or 7 picks, too, his rookie season. If they could get back to that, man, like I said, that secondary, it's going to be like a no-fly zone back there once again.
Diggs, his rookie season, he had 3, but then the year after, he had 11 interceptions.
Okay. It was his second season. My bad, yeah. But, yeah, I knew he had a lot one year.
And I didn't realize he had that many. Wow, 11 interceptions by a corner is insane.
Yeah. So if you can get them two to be on the same page and do that, anywhere close to that, that'll be a big improvement for that offense or for that defense. And now we head to the gem of the division, the New York Football Giants. Gage, I think we both agree on who should be the quarterback of this team, but they've already named their quarterback as Russell Wilson. We disagree heavily with this right here, but Gage, tell me a little bit about them Giants.
Yeah, they finished last year 3-14, 16.1 scored per game, which was 31st in the league. Not even the worst, but 31st. And the defense, a little bit better, 24.4 points allowed per game, which was good enough to be 21st. Their win line is actually set at 5.5, which I think is very positive for this team, so to say. My key question kind of surrounds an offensive lineman. Can left tackle Andrew Thomas stay healthy? Last year, offensive line coach was a bright spot in his first New York season. However, but any improvement he gets from this line is largely irrelevant if Thomas sits. The Giants are 3-15 in the last 18 games that Thomas has missed. His last fully healthy season came in 2022, when we all know it, the Giants were a surprise playoff team. And Pro Football Focus PFF named Thomas the league's most valuable offensive tackle. So my position to watch, you mentioned it, the quarterback room. A quarterback room with Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito was made for Hard Knocks. It was absolutely made for it. However, Wilson's leadership seems to kind of be turning heads. This new look room offers the highest floor they've had since Eli Manning retired, which I know isn't a high floor, but it's still up there. However, the problem is their schedule, which opens with the Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Chargers. Like you mentioned it, Wilson is the week 1 starter. If he looks competent and wins at least one of those games, he could start for all of 2025. However, if not, you might be looking at Jackson Dart. He took more second-team reps than Jameis Winston this spring. He could start earlier than anticipated, even though I think you and I both agree that Jameis Winston should be the starter for this team. And it's kind of funny. Russell Wilson, former Steeler quarterback. Jackson Dart, the quarterback that I was hoping Pittsburgh would draft. It's really just not working out well for us here. So, and then instead of a breakout player, we're going to change it up a little bit. Let's go to a breakout coach. We go to the offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka. Out of these 4 teams, he is the only coach in my list of breakout people. The fast-rising Kafka was recruited by Andy Reid in 2017 and was a finalist for the Saints head coaching gig this offseason. Again, not saying much with that part, but still, he was a finalist for it. Kafka is expected to reclaim play-calling duties for an offense that should be different, at least, but better this year than what they were last year. Are they better than what they were in 2024? Yes, maybe. This team, on paper, is much improved. Their defensive line is the league's most talented. Their secondary is better after signing cornerback Paulson Adebo and safety Javon Holland. And their quarterback situation is there. But they have the league's toughest schedule, based on both opponents' winning percentage from 2024 and projected win totals for 2025. Which I really have to feel bad for the Giants. You've been trash now for the past few years, and the NFL is like, let's add on to it because we hate you guys. We hate you, New York Saints. So it's like, all right, what do we do here? Let's give him the toughest schedule. I mentioned how they opened earlier. Not going to be good. I think 6 wins is a positive outcome, though I don't see it happening. So 5.5 wins on the win total. I'm going to take the under. I think they go 4 or 5 wins this season.
A dismal 3-14 season, exposed by offensive and defensive weakness. Just weakness everywhere. Coaching weakness, sideline weakness, special teams probably weakness. I'm not sure. I didn't really pay much attention to special teams, but weak all around. They made some moves in the offseason, including bringing in quarterback Russell Wilson. They had a strong draft, trying to improve, but like you mentioned, a brutal schedule. For a team that went 3-14 last year to have such a brutal schedule the next year is like, wow, they maybe are trying to keep the Giants down. It sure seems that way. So at quarterback, Russell Wilson starts. Then rookie Jackson Dart, 25th overall pick, is a potential future option. Like you said, he's been taking second team reps. And you've got famous Jameis over there that provides depth. And we both think that he should be starting, if for nothing else, for entertainment purposes only, because he is the most entertaining man in the league. Wilson's steady presence could provide a boost that the unit hasn't had at quarterback in a few years. Running backs, our own Tracy Jr., 4.4 yards per carry in 2024, leads the backfield. He was not too bad in the running game. They drafted Cam Scatterbo from Arizona State, who I really liked as a very tough runner for the Sun Devils last year. I like that pickup. But the run game hinges on left tackle Andrew Thomas and his recovery from injury. Wide receivers, you've got Malik Neighbors, who had 109 catches last year and was an absolute star for whoever was tossing him the ball. And then you also have Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver from the University of Kentucky. He had 93 catches last year, and he seemed like he was open quite a bit. He could find himself in open positions a lot. And then Darius Slayton also was on the team. Neighbors had a minor turf toe issue last year that kept him out for a little bit, but he's still the number 1 wide receiver and maybe one of the better wide receivers in this division as a sophomore. On the offensive line, Thomas's health is critical, but the line remains one of the NFL's worst, which could hurt whoever is back there quarterbacking for the Giants this year, whether it be Wilson, Dart, or Winston. Brian Daboll is still the head coach somehow for this team. Don't know how. He had one good season, and he's still the head coach. I don't know, but this could be the last year for him, I think. He is definitely on the hot seat, so we will see how that goes for him. On the defensive side, they had the best defensive line in the NFC East last year. You've got Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and you bring in Abdul Carter, who cannot wear number 56, denied him that. But then you've got Kayvon Thibodeau, who was very good last year on the defensive side. The pass rush was 3rd in sacks. That's elite for defense. The defense wasn't bad. I mean, it was okay. But they averaged, 16 points a game?
Yeah.
That's not going to win you very many ball games. Can the D-line compensate for the secondary struggles? They struggled in the secondary. Pass all over this team, but running's a little bit different story. And will Abdul Carter live up to his number 3 overall pick? I don't know. We'll see. 5.5 is the win total, right, for the Giants?
Yippers.
I'm going under on this. They're plus 2,200 to win the NFC East. Stay away. Don't do it. Give me the under. I think that they may win 3, maybe 4 games once again this year. I don't see them getting over at all. And they may be improved from last year, but they've got a tough schedule, so it's not going to really show in the win column. But, yeah, give me the under on the Giants.
So you mentioned about special teams for the Giants. Not really too sure how they done. Well, let me tell you how they did last year. They had 3 different kickers and 2 different punters. Kicker-wise, Graham Gano. He had the most. Yeah, Graham Gano, don't you know, the most amount of games. He had 10 games, 9 of 11 in field goals, 15 for 50 on extra points. That's cool. That's good. They also had Greg Joseph, Big Greg the Leg. He, in 6 games, 13 for 16 on field goals, respectable, and 6 for 6 on extra points. Then they have a kicker that I don't know who this is. I never heard of this guy. Jude McAtamney. Couldn't tell you.
Easy
Don't know.
for you to say.
Yeah. He appeared in 1 game, went 1 for 1 in field goals, 1 for 1 in extra points.
It's perfect.
And then they put out their punter to kick an extra point for some reason, and he went 0 for 1. Punting-wise, they brought back Jamie Gillen. He's there again this year. Last year, 13 games. Had a 43.7 yard per punt average, which was actually the lowest in his career. And then they had Matt Hawk. 4 games, he averaged 47 yards per punt. Don't know why you didn't go with him instead, but hey, got to do what you got to do, I guess. So, not the best out of the special teams unit, but certainly not the worst. We've seen much worse kicking options in the league.
Yeah, so, I mean, special teams was not really that special, didn't sound like for them. Along with the rest of the team, the offense wasn't much, defense wasn't much, coaching's not much, special teams, not special. Yeah, so it must be bad to be a Giants fan right now. I mean, wow, that's pretty bad. They may be one of the worst. I mean, the Saints were pretty bad as well that we went over. That may be the worst, but the Giants are right there with them, maybe just a little bit ahead of them.
Yeah, I could see, the number 1 and the number 2 pick, Saints, Giants,
and
Pittsburgh draft.
And the Titans are up there somewhere too. But, man, that is the NFC East. 2 teams that I believe will make the playoffs with the Commanders winning this division. Philly second for me. The Cowboys, and then the Giants.
And then the Giants. The poor Giants.
Who do we have as the MVP of this division this year?
So MVP, I was thinking about this as we were talking about it. Because I don't think it's going to be Saquon. Because I expect him to get hurt. I'm going to go to the team that you have winning. And I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. I don't expect Washington to win the division, but I think he's going to be the best quarterback in the division.
So in order for Washington to win this division, with my prediction, I've got to pick a guy that plays for Washington. So I'm with you here. I think Jaden Daniels is poised for a huge sophomore season. Not a slump, but he's going to have like a sophomore surge, maybe. No, I don't know. Maybe. We'll go with that. I like the sophomore surge this year for Jaden Daniels, and he's going to be the MVP out of the NFC East. Who do we have for our Rookie of the Year in this division?
Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go to the basement. I'm going to go to the Giants and go to the defensive side. I think Abdul Carter out of Penn State. I think he's going to tear it up.
Yeah, I'm with you here too, man. I had Abdul Carter. I don't know if he's going to live up to his number 3 overall pick, as I said, but what if he does? If he does, he would definitely be one of the better players in this division defensively for a rookie. I mean, either side for a rookie. So I'll go Abdul Carter too, man. And I think it's the first time we've had the same player for MVP and Rookie of the Year in these divisions so far, I believe.
That's crazy. We did not plan this out either.
No, well, we did not. But yeah, man. Well, yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about the NFC East? Want to rant about the Eagles or anything like that before we hop off of here, Gage?
Not yet. Let's wait until week maybe 3. And then I can be like, you know what? I hate this Eagles team. I can't stand them. Their fans are awful. The team is awful. Saquon, poor guy's injured already. All right, here we go.
Yeah, their fans, they're definitely unique. I'll say that. For sports fans, anytime you boo Santa Claus and all that, I mean, you got to be something wrong with you, right? Who does that?
Booing Santa Claus, and the city has to grease up the light poles so this way you don't climb on them.
Yeah, should tell you all you need to know. Well, that will do it for us here on the NFC East preview. Next week, we just got 2 divisions left, Gage. We've got the NFC North, and then we've got the best division in football, the AFC North. We'll finish on. Gage, we'll see you next week right here on this podcast.
Later.